Okay, we should be good.
So how I could put it on my page?
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, wait a minute. Yeah, we're live. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, we should be live. Let me check one more time. Yes. So just go to my page and share it you can share it from there.
Okay.
All right. Right.
I don't see it.
I'm gonna share it. So it should be on my page. Good evening, everybody. We're coming. We're just getting these quick little things out the way. We'll be right with you. 1 second. All right.
I don't see it yet.
You sure?
Mm-hmm.
Hold 1 second.
Oh yeah. Yep. Okay. There he is.
You know, all the streaming stuff is so slow. So slow nowadays, you know?
Mm-hmm.
My page, yeah. Good evening, everybody. We're coming. We're just getting these quick little things out the way. We'll be right.
All right. I need to take that down.
Yeah, me too. My value is loud too. All right. Okay.
I don't see it yet.
You sure?
Mm-hmm.
You must have another device going on, Dr. Cheryl.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. You know, all the streaming stuff is so slow.
Okay.
So slow nowadays, you know?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's see.
Good evening, everybody. We're coming. We're just getting...
Okay.
All right. Okay. Now, we're good. You straight?
I'm straight.
All right. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Unscripted. I'm your host, Charles Dixon, and on today, we have a phenomenal guest with us in the building. We have Dr. Cheryll, none other than the Dr. Cheryll Holmes. You know, Dr. Cheryll, you may not know this, but each time you come on, you get all these fans and Dr. Cheryll, oh my God, she is just the business. Get Dr. Cheryll back on there. Like, yeah. I figured this would be an opportunity to be up close and personal. And like, you know, a lot of times, you know, you and I don't mind dealing in the numbers, but sometimes it's good to be intimate and just have a conversation. You know, it's good.
Yeah, I miss my Charles time. Bruce.
Yes, yeah. So I figured today is a good question because it's basically saying who's loving you. Basically, the weight, meaning the person that says they love you, they're in your life, they're you know, I want the best for you, but at every turn they get to put their foot on your neck to keep you from excelling. They do that, whether it is literally sabotaging you or sometimes it's simply in, you know, negative professions. You know, everything is negative. You know, oh, you're not going to be able to get another degree. I mean, they've already seen you enough. You know, that kind of stuff. Things that can kind of keep a person just, you know, really low key and all that stuff like that. And then you have the other person that is the catalyst. Sometimes people come into our lives, and if you have the right connection, I mean, beautiful things blossom from it. You know, you end up places you never thought you would go because you had a supportive person at your side, or vice versa. And you know, we can also dive in today is how does it look when you have two people with promise? And sometimes the balancing act of who goes first or when is it my turn, that sort of thing. That's a common thing too. So yeah. So when you think of some of those things, Dr. Cheryll, what comes to mind?
Okay, now I'm hearing an echo.
You are?
Yeah.
You may have another device volume on or something.
No, I took that off. In fact, it went all the way off.
Let me ask the people, do you all hear, let us know if you hear echo. I don't hear it personally, but let us know if you hear Dr. Cheryl's echo, or maybe Dr. Cheryll, so you hear it on your end.
Yeah, I don't hear it again. So it probably was me. I'm hoping I'm sharing on my page. I'm hoping that's what, I hope I did that.
Yeah.
Okay, but I can always share it later.
Okay.
But those two things, that situation is really something that is, it can, if you find the person who holds you back.
Yeah.
and sometimes in relationship you can have, if you can meet someone while we both are in college, or we're both working at McDonald's, and then one person goes a little further. They may get a degree or get another job or making more money. There are times that you can outgrow the person. You can outgrow the person that you're with, and then that becomes a really tough place. Or you may have two people together and the man wants a traditional wife. The traditional wife is really the one who stays at home, cooks and wash, does not go out and work.
Yeah.
But that's not something that he says in the beginning. So you have the wife who has the potential to run, a Forbes company, and she is married to the man who is just okay with the white picket fence and the, and the traditional way of relationship. That becomes a problem because resentment will come into the relationship. Yeah. Because what does she have to do to be able to curb herself into the person who only takes care of the household? Now, taking care of the household is fine.
Okay.
But if she had met someone who would understand her potential,
okay,
and push her forward, both of them would be able to reap the benefits. But there's a level of insecurity. Sometimes people don't want you to work because they feel that if you go out there and work, you're going to meet people, and then you find somebody who's more handsome than me, more beautiful than me, and then that might be, a problem. So I think all around, it's a level of insecurity. That's big on the reason why that happens.
Yeah. And another side of it, if you look at it, sometimes, let's just say, you were speaking from the women's side of it. So sometimes, sometimes men, because let's just be honest. In most cases, now there are a lot of successful men, right? There are men that are great men here and there, but I would say more along the lines of today's culture, you certainly see more thriving women. I mean, in corporate America. I mean, they're pastors. I mean, they're everywhere. They're like in the forefront. So it's not uncommon. Hold on a second, guys. It's not uncommon to have someone where someone is. It's not uncommon to have a situation where someone it's not uncommon to have someone that just might be envious of your position.
Yeah, and every time I come along with you, I digress into my own little thing, because you just said something that I use these opportunities to ask a question that I always want to ask so I can get the answers. I don't know if this has ever happened to you, but from a male's perspective, why do you think a man would not? Most female pastors are single. Most female pastors are single. Why? Is it because she portrays a demeanor of not being approachable, or is the man now saying, "Nah, I don't know why"? Because why would you date a pastor, a female pastor?
Oh man,
I'm sorry.
Listen, I would say, Dr. Cheryl, for me, it would be a case where it would certainly be a case for me. It depends on the dynamic. Like, okay, there is the pastor woman, and then there's the woman when she's home, when she's out of the pulpit. And can that shift happen? Because it's difficult. Look, I've literally seen a church where there was a female pastor, and her husband he was very docile. He was just low key, just quiet. No, he didn't make no ripples. He wasn't your typical alpha male. He wasn't really that aggressive. He was just a nice guy. And so some would looked at that dynamic, and they was like, oh, that's a mess. It's out of order. She's just running him around by the neck and leading him around. And I think in a case like that, if you have an understanding between you and your partner, and if you don't feel some kind of way about it, then, it's to each his own. But I think when you have a situation where someone may abuse the power or abuse the position and kind of, as lack of better words, as the words say, usurp something openly, right? In front of the whole church, you're usurping. Like, let's just say if the church is going on and your husband just ups and gets up. Brother so-and-so, where do you think you going in front of the whole church? You get my drift? It's like you kind of punking him. Then now you change the dynamics and make it really difficult to kind of be in a situation like that. Yeah.
So I understand that, but would you date? Because that scenario is already married, and maybe God called her after she got married.
Right.
But what does a man, and I know I'm putting you on the spot, what does a man see when he sees a female pastor, a female evangelist, a female, I'm staying in the church thing. And
that's okay.
I'm pulling you, I know.
That's all right. I'm familiar with this, so it's all right. I've seen this a million times. All right.
Why is she? Because I know some really amazing women.
Yeah.
But they're single. And it seems like once you get into pastoring, single, if you get in and you're married, okay. But if you get in and you're single, it seems like you remain single. Is this something that we're missing? Wow. Pastoring.
Wow. I personally think, when I see these dynamics, I think it comes from the place of just someone, you have a situation where you see a woman that, and from the outside looking in, men look, and especially it depends on her level of prowess, her confidence in what she's walking in. Because let's just be honest, sometimes men can see it, and someone said, I would just take the words out of my mouth, it looks, from the outside, it looks intimidating. It looks like, now think about this, Dr. Cheryl, you already can go down the street and meet the secular woman, and she's going to tell you, the secular woman is going to say, oh, I'm fine, I got this, I don't need you for that, I am great, I got my own this, my own that, all these things. And most men, it's not that we don't welcome that, it's just that we take that conversation to mean, so really, you don't really need me past this exchange. That's what you're trying to tell me. You're letting me know I'm okay with dealing with you within this space, but past that, I really don't really have a need for you. So if you take that and take it over into Christendom, where it is what I already have, what I am successful with, coupled with faith and beyond and belief and my calling, and I am of the Most High, it becomes spooky. And now it is like, all right, now this is tough to deal with because I'm dealing with her in her own success and her own gifts aside from church. So now we're in church, and now you want to turn your superpowers on me in the open, and you want to just kind of be this particular woman where I spoke about this on one of my other shows. Nowadays, we are being introduced, and don't take this. Don't. This is not to you, Dr. Cheryl. This is fine. Nowadays, we are being introduced to the spirit of he/she. That's what's happening today, and unfortunately, it is not just the woman's fault. I said this on the show. I said, to me, I think what we are seeing are the chickens are coming home to roost, right? So men are the depositors. We deposit into the woman. That's why in most cases, when you see this influx of effeminate men today, it is just because they are wanting to emulate the woman. But you are seeing more of a stronger influence of the woman who is walking like the man. Like, she may not look like him, and she may not have the muscles and all this, but her spirit alone is just like, it's like walking on the block and you're like, I'm not going to say nothing to Dr. Sure. No, I'm going to keep her over there because she just looked like, she got this whole thing where it's just like, look, I am better than you. You take your little weak stuff on over there and get on because I am Dr. Cheryl. I mean, nowadays you hear so many words of you're not a real man and weak and all of these things thrown around loosely. And it is because that transformation is taking place. And the woman, a man doesn't have a chance in the world dealing with a woman in all of her greatness, right? And a mirror image of himself. It's an unfair fight. It's just no way. We're man, but when you take woman and man together, and you have the he/she thing. It's just, it's tough. And so a lot of men see women that way, unfortunately. And I know a lot of it is like old school, and it's sad because when it comes to Christendom, Most of the older school men, they prefer the women to be like, oh, yeah, look, listen, here you go, Dr. Cheryl. Oh, yes. They want you to have the doily and don't be quiet. Just kind of just sit over there and wait on the man of God and do all the things to make him look good, which suppresses the woman. See, it suppresses her and her gift because all she's doing now is making him shine, and stay over there in your place. But nowadays, the women are like, no, I have gifts. I can cast out, be blessed, and do all these things just like you. And so now it is like, and now all the deacons and the other pastors, you don't got Dr. Cheryl in order. You don't have her in no kind of control. I see she running around here like a wild rooster. That's the kind of the way they look at it. You know?
Yeah, I think, I know we don't have a whole lot of time, but I think this will answer. I'll speak for some of the women, the single women there, because, I sit back, I look at you and Bruce and some of the other people who do some of the relationship things, and I see the women's response. I see women who talk about. So let me just kind of rephrase it. And I'm putting you on the spot again because you don't have Bruce and the other people to kind of buffer you. Is the preacher woman, the female bishop, pastor, clergy, the female clergy, does she come over too masculine? Is it that? Would she be more attractive if she can tap into her feminine side? Is when a man sees these women,
yes,
you guys are seeing some of them on the pages and they're trying to say hi or whatever, but is it a lack of femininity?
No, unfortunately, it's rare. I have seen a few where you see them come and they preach. And here's the thing. Have you ever seen that woman that she goes out of her way to make sure that even though I have on this long minister garb and all this, but I carry myself in the most feminine way. It is very prissy looking. My outfit doesn't look like I'm trying to be one of the bishops of Kojic. It looks like I'm just a woman and I'm coming up here and I'm just doing me how I am, but I'm still feminine. The problem comes in when, I'm going to just take the Band-Aid off. Men like to see a woman, and more than just her shape, more than just her face, her curves, it is her spirit. That is the femininity is in the spirit of her, not just the natural or what she's suppressing or not. It is in her spirit. We can detect Cheryl is a feminine woman. She's not trying to replace me. And the problem why a lot of the women that are single, that are in some of these positions, the men are saying, listen, I'm around enough bishops and ministers and brothers. I don't want to sit up here with another brother with long hair. I want to see a feminine woman. I want to see a feminine woman. I don't want to see this, because what comes with that, listen, let's just be honest. What comes with walking in, okay, let me be teeter with this one. All right.
No, come on, bring it.
What comes with walking in his shoes is you begin to smell like him, walk like him, talk like him. And so at the end of the day, that's sometimes you have to be, you with someone, you have to kind of pinch them and say, hey, don't forget. What do you mean don't forget? You're a woman. You're not a man. I'm pinching you, let you know you're a woman. You're not a man. So you don't have to try to be me, or you don't have to try to muster up and be overly strong. Be the beautiful woman that you were created to be. You don't have to be all this other stuff. Just be delicate. Be prissy. Like, what happened to prissy and delicate? And people think nowadays, because I put on red bottoms and because I have the latest hair and all of the different things like that, that I'm considered prissy. But the minute they open up their mouth, you hear man. They swear worse than men. It's just, you hear some of these women today, this professional, it's just crazy with it. And you just sit up there like, wow, like I'm not even out there like that, but you want to take it to this level. And so they want to overly, so if you take what they're professing and what they're exuding physically, you take that and now you change the new narrative of well, I can so and so bishop told me to meet me in his room. Then you will have the real saved lady. You're not going to take his key and go up there. Child, I don't care. I'll go up there and go in there and leave. It ain't gonna matter one bit. That's the new spirit. Today it is, I can be just like you. I can be transactional and dismissive. I'm the he, she, the new he, she. I can come to the hotel room, whereas back in the days, oh, I'm gonna tell you touched me inappropriately and go tell the bishop. Nowadays, even if she wanted to, she still is going to put up you're touching, get away from me. I don't want to do this, even if she did. Nowadays, I'm bold. I'm making my own choice. If I want to have sex with you, I will, and I will leave. And it is permissible because I am he, she, and I can stomach it. Whereas back in the day, that didn't happen. But today, it happens.
That's deep right there. I want to talk about the ones that, because I know that those people exist. There's a place right now, and from where I sit, where the woman is becoming, and I would like to say, and I know this is probably going to sound bad, that the men have taught us so well by leaving us, by impregnating us, and then leaving, where sex was only sex and nothing else. So you have some women who, because that's who we are the wombed man. If you give us a seed, no matter what kind of seed, we're going to multiply it.
Yeah.
So now the women are multiplying that, and they become, and the men can't deal with it.
Well, here's the other crazy part about it. Here's the real reason we are seeing such an influx of the effeminate man. You know why? Because she is rejecting the deposit. Back in the day, the woman received the deposit. So she multiplied and she gave back, and now you saw more. You saw more male energy going around because the men doted in the fact that she was multiplying what he gave her. Nowadays, you come in, take what your seed right on back with you. And so if you give a man his seed back, he's not being replenished. He's left weak. And so if he's left weak, when the effeminate spirit comes around, it's easy to attach itself. He's not strong. He's not being replenished. That's the problem.
Wow. That's good. That's good. But another thing that I'm just kind of sitting back and observing, and I just had an opportunity to speak at my Bible college, and the president said that I was always the girly girl. But one of the things that I'm seeing now with some single women is that fight to be the holy.
Yeah.
The mask of the holy.
Yeah.
And through the place where, like, for example, someone went to a concert with a girl, and this was their first date. The Spirit of the Lord, so whoever was singing, the Spirit of the Lord came into place, and everybody was worshiping. When they were about to leave, he wanted to hold her hand to cross the street, and she was just like, touch not the Lord's anointed.
Wow. Right?
So he felt that she was just too deep for her. Do we still have the women? I want you to tell me from the man's point of view. Now we have a segment of these women who just like, what, I'll have sex with you anytime. I'll do whatever. It is what it is. It's just sex. If God forgave you and your bishop, he'll forgive me.
Yes.
So we all in this together. If you can do this and still preach, I'm right there with you. I'm not only going to sit in the congregation and say amen, but you better say amen when I'm on the pulpit after we done had sex.
Wow.
And say amen.
Wow.
Because one of the problems that I don't know how many people know that, based on where I sit, there are lots of marriages, members of the clergy who do not have sex.
Wow.
I mean, like for real. You can ask a pastor. I want to say about probably about 60%, because the more sanctified the woman is,
the more unattractive she appears.
Right.
Yeah, the more.
Right. So
we want the lady to be saved, but then have in her purse, we want her purse to be filled with Lodabar.
Oh, yeah.
Just have a little bit of the Israelite spirit. Don't just be too holy. You know what I'm saying? But no.
But some women don't know how to make to see the dichotomy between the woman who is the mighty woman of God and the freak in the bedroom, and to know that the host of heaven is applauding. I mean, this is a marriage. Applauding when you invent your own position, when you invent your own way of doing things. And I know I'm going to make some people uncomfortable, but there are lots of marriages that people, you see them on the pulpit, they're like roommates because one, and this is a good thing, they did not have sex before they got married.
Okay.
This is a great thing, according to script. It is a great thing.
According to script, yes.
And so, it is the right thing to do.
Yeah.
There's no testing. You don't know the sexual appetite of each other. You don't know anything like that. Then you go on the honeymoon, and a lot of people don't have sex on their honeymoon because this is the first time. Some of these people, we have people in their 50s who are virgins.
Wow.
And women, and who this man is their first time. And so their desire for it is not there. So you have this man who is, I mean, his appetite is like, he's been waiting, and a lot of women, we tease you at the beginning. I can't wait to put it on you. When we get married, it's going to be blah, blah, blah. And then there's a drought. There is a drought, but that is coming from the woman's perspective. A lot of us who grew up in the holiness and the full gospel and the Pentecostal church, we have not spent the time to understand that sex is a beautiful thing. So we grew up hearing, close your leg, do not do this, sex is bad, we go on the line, get delivered from it, all of that kind of stuff. And then we come into marriage and we can't make that transition.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, this is my perspective. From there is a responsibility. There's a strong. I'm gonna preface it with a strong responsibility for the spouse of a male pastor and the husband of a female pastor. I'll tell you why. Any one of those positions, it carries a strong. If we're honest, not only do we hear the word talk about being circumspect and without spot or wrinkle. Well, what comes with that narrative is a strong sense of image. And when image comes into play, now your spouse who could be there to have you could share and have sex and be intimate with your spouse becomes your assistant. It becomes transitional. I need you to, you didn't go down there and do what I told you to. So-and-so church is going to be here on Friday. Your whole life becomes business and transaction. And the responsibility of the spouse that's married to such people, you have to find a way to command your separation time. Leave the bishop, the pastor over there. Leave the evangelist over there and be my spouse and separate all that. If not, I see it by default. I don't think they start off meaning to do it. But by default, you become the assistant of that leader. In one form or another, they're depending on you to do something that in most cases they already have assistants to do. But because you're in the house with them, you should be the assistant on steroids. You should be able to do things for me that others that don't have this access do. And in that transaction, it becomes like a co-worker. And if you're not, it now becomes, I don't want to necessarily sleep with you right now because you're my co-worker. So when you're on the road, that handsome pastor, if you're a female pastor, that handsome pastor or welcome person that picks you up from the airport, that's strapping and sexy, looks like, because now they don't sit in the seat of the assistant. They just sit in the seat of a man, attractive man or attractive woman, the bishop or a pastor who has, his wife can be fine. But guess what? Fine gets pressed like a shirt when you become his assistant. It don't matter how fine you are. You have allowed me to position you as my assistant. So now I'm not that attracted to you because you're my assistant.
Wow.
So I'm at church. All these scandals pop up is because Everyone else around the church is not my wife. They're not my personal strong assistant. So I can sit back now, and now I can really look for who I'm really attracted to. After I said I do to you, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right. That's one of the reasons why I don't like when people, and this happened when I was in Bible college, there was this unspoken thing that the men could not pastor without having a wife, right? So by the time it's close to graduation, everybody's kind of looking, but they're looking for a first lady.
Yes.
You need to be looking for a last lady. Your last lady.
And nowadays, it's first, 6 months.
Yeah, you've been going through the first, but when you look for the last lady,
yeah,
you do what it needs. It has nothing to do with my ability to preach. I don't have to be able to teach Sunday school. I don't have to be able to be an evangelist. I need to be able to be your wife and minister to you. And a lot of women don't want to hear this, but when we go back to Genesis, Adam had everything that he needed.
Yeah.
Everything. Yeah. And so God saw in Adam that there was a need that God could not fill. The animals could not fill. And he said, man has this need. Let me create this person who would meet the need in this man, not to be the co-owner of Eden, not to be assistant Eden CEO, but to meet the need of the man. And any smart woman would understand that that is one of the most honorable, the most prestigious job that you can have, that if you can understand, and it does not take away from your power and your ability and your strongness as a woman. When we understand what Ephesians says to submit, it has nothing to do. Submission means I am so powerful, but I take this power and I put it down and defer to my husband. It does not mean a lack of power. If there was a lack of power, there's no need to submit.
Yeah, but
there's no need to submit.
Guess what though? This is to all the ladies listening. There's no more of an attractive sight to a man than a woman who he knows is full but will submit.
Amen.
A full woman that will submit. Like you already know she can handle it. You know, if you fell off today and got sick, she gonna pick up the mantle and run. She has the anointing. She can do whatever. Her hands are blessed. She's gonna do it. However, you know, a lot of in most cases, you know, and instead of, it takes a woman that's really confident in herself to be able to say, I don't mind being submissive. And while I know, you and I both know I'm full, but I don't have no problem with it because I'm full. I embrace who I am and the woman that I am. So I'm not intimidated. I don't feel insecure. I'm just going to embody it. But instead, nowadays, we play the standoff chess game. I'm not going to submit to this. I'm going to stay over here in my corner, and I'm not going to. No, I won't. And there's this pride struggle. And you said that once before about the pride piece. And how, you know, we are just so prideful, and a lot of us lose out because we fail to meet in the middle. We just want to stay in our corners. Yeah.
Because we are in a system now, and you know, when we talk about not being of the world, people are just like, you know, they pull that to some other extreme. But if we understand our position, and our position is most powerful, and I like to reference Michelle Obama. She is one of the most intelligent Black woman. Yeah, that I know. But when I saw her in South Africa, her husband was not with her. And this woman is just like, Barack, blah, blah, blah. And Barack said, and it hit me. I would never forget that, because she deferred to him. And the thing about it, if you look at that relationship, he defers to her.
Yeah.
He would talk to, I believe that she could run the country.
Yeah.
But even in his absence, because you put her anywhere, she's intelligent and all of that. But even in that moment when he is not looking, when there are no cameras and anything around, she's still talking about her man, what my man says. And there's nothing, from what I understand from the man cave, that is more attractive than hearing. You know, I tell people, boys grow up with their mom, and the boy would take a paper and he would draw all kinds of stuff on the paper, all over the line and whatever. Nothing that is beautiful necessarily, but he brings this to his mom.
Yeah.
And he says, Mom, look what I drew. And Mom says, oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. Yeah. She puts it up on the refrigerator. Yeah. Grandma calls and she says, you know what Johnny did? Johnny painted this beautiful picture and he's listening to this. And what John does is that he continues to make these beautiful pictures. Yeah. And he grows up now. And what he's still expecting is that the woman who comes into his life will still put him up on the refrigerator, would still talk and brag about him. And if he gets that applause, his actions are multiplied. Yeah. Because now it's just like, what? Yeah. This is what, nothing from what I understand, and you can correct me. Yeah. It is so sexy to hear for a man to hear his woman bragging about him.
Oh, absolutely.
Right or wrong?
Here's the part that I heard when you were talking about Obama and how he gets up there and he'll say, hey, she could run the country. Here's the caveat to that. In a day where sound bites can change your entire life, and how the videos of things can go viral. Did you hear what Obama said? He said his wife can run the country. People can spin the narrative in a minute. But here's the kicker. Do you know why he was even comfortable enough to put that comment out there and compliment her at the same time? Simply because he can trust her. He knows there are some women that if you said, hey, my Dr. Cheryl, hey, I know she's my partner. She can run this whole country. Somebody knows when that whole interview is over, somebody's going to be in Dr. Cheryl's inbox saying, now, we want you to think about potentially running next term. And she might be, really? And next thing you know, she want to divorce her husband because she has aspirations. He's not worried about that because he knows I can trust Michelle beyond this president stuff. So I'm going to say what I want to say about my woman because I know she's going to mask it that way. He trusts her.
That is so good because that is one of the problems that we are having in the church, where the woman now decides that she wants to be co-pastor. She wants to be right there with her. She wants to be in the boardroom. And then all of a sudden, she is just like, I can preach better than him. So you're right. Yeah. He has to be able to trust her. Yeah. And some of the most powerful women are not the talkative women, are not the women out front. They're not, they're right there supporting their husband. They know that you need help. Yeah, I'm there. I got you. Yeah. You're right. Yeah. You're right that it's that trust level. It's not, I can be big and I can be, I can be Dr. Holmes. I can be all of that. But then in terms of relating to my husband it has to be Cheryl. Yeah. It has to be that person without all of that.
Absolutely.
And one of the things that we need to understand is that trust level. I always feel when the story of the prodigal son is taught, if the Bible says that when he had all the money and the fame and all of that, the women were around him. Wow. When he lost it, they were gone. Yeah. If that woman had stayed in the pigsty with the prodigal son, if he had gone through the mess with him, when he reconnected to his father, and through that party and put the ring in the robe, she would have been right there with him. We are waiting. You're like, you're too dirty. When we start seeing mess, whether it is in marriage, in relationship, there's sometime the man that you're with, he made some wrong decision and he ends up in the pigsty. But if you would stick with him through there,
you never forget it. You never forget it. Because we know, men know that when we come out of things, we could clean up well. And if you clean up well as a man, if you look halfway decent, you're going to pull a woman. We already know that. So the thing is, and that's just transactional and momentary. We want the person that's going to appreciate us when we're not so attractive, not necessarily exterior wise, but our life is ugly. We a little broke. We're a little messed up. We struggling. We're rebuilding our credit, whatever the case is.
Right.
It's embarrassing to the man that he just doesn't want to necessarily open up and expose, she embraces it in private with him, and he'll never forget it. Men never forget the woman that embraces him in his public shame in private. When he knows he's feeling bad and he knows technically he's walk by worthy. Girl, anybody think about him walk on by. He's walk by worthy at that moment. But she's like, no, I'm going to sit here because I see purpose in this guy. Regardless of what everyone else thinks, I know there's a great man behind this current state. And in the end, he's like, I'm going to love this person to the moon and back because she wrote it out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
That's what happened. That's the story I'm hearing from TD Jakes, because he's saying Serena stayed with him when the lights were out, when they were repossessing the cars and all of that. So she's able to reap the benefits. So you have to be able to go through those things. And I know not just men make silly mistakes. Women make silly mistakes, but we need to be able to kind of stick with the relationship and understand that there are some roles that we need to play that's good. Yeah. It's not bad ones. It's one of the roles in terms of being a support, being a helper, being, submitting. Those are some good things that we should not run away from. I grew up growing up seeing my father, my mom putting his slipper, he had a chair and all those kinds of things. We really have to create the home and allow him to be king without feeling that it makes us less of a person.
Yes. Yeah. If you don't have that, you're right. If you don't have that and the place is just kind of is set up in a way where it's, it's touchy. It's just, everyone is kind of, it's nothing like coming around a person that you're supposed to be. I can imagine being, you're married, but you're coming home and you feel as though when you walk through your door, you can cut the air. It's so thick, and it's just like, it's just a horrible place to be, Yeah.
Well, I have to run because I have another client at 7. Yeah. But it's good hanging out with you. Yeah, I'm sorry. Thank you. I always take the chance to ask my little question in there.
Thanks for tuning in and hanging in there with we can do this again, maybe on one of the other nights or Monday nights, and we can take it further. But thank you for tuning in and doing this. And as everybody, as I always say, thank you guys for tuning in. And as usual, as I always say on Unscripted, let's continue to heal the world one heart at a time. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll be back tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow. Sorry, sure. All right. Enjoy your evening. Take care. Thank you. All right.